What is up, everybody? Today we have a lot to go over, including the end of the NBA trade deadline. And it was probably the busiest trade deadline we have seen in a long time. We're going to get right into it. Let's go. What's going on, spectators? I'm Julian Osius. I'm here with my boy Gerard, and we are two sad Knicks fans that got nothing done at the deadline. But there's a lot of teams that are a lot more sad or a lot more happy than us. We're going to break down all the trades for you guys, give them some grades on everything. And honestly, let's just get right into it. What's going on, G?
What's going on, people? You know, but whenever you're a Knicks fan for what 25 years now, you get
Oof.
used to it.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
The pain never ends, and we expected it. We really did. So we're gonna
Let's
start
go ahead.
from
Let's get into the first trade. Let's
Yeah,
get
we're
into the
gonna
first
start
trade.
from the stuff that kind of happened first. Starting with this Friday, the Trailblazers were the first team to make a decision whether they were gonna go for it or tear it down, and it looks like they're tearing it down and making cap space. Norman Powell, Robert Covington sent to the Clippers for, I think it was Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson, and a second round pick. This this trade befuddled me.
I think, I think what the Blazers are trying to do is they're just trying to jump ship. Everyone's gone. We're
Yep.
starting all over. Dame, this is your team. This is your team only right now. We're gonna build around you. But the thing is, I don't think Dame wants to be there. So, like, if you would have like restarted, you should have restarted and
Yeah, like you
not
should have
getting
traded
rid of
Dame
Dame.
today, probably.
Because he's going to request a trade, I bet you, in the offseason. So just delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, it's really odd because we're looking at the Blazers who have been pretty good over the last couple of years. They went to the Western Conference Finals just like 2 years ago. But they've switched up this roster so many times to try and get this win and try and get this championship, and we've seen them bring in 15 different 3-and-D guys, and none of them have worked out. And then they obviously had CJ McCollum, so they had a nice little duo with Dame. That didn't work out. Uh, I don't get it. I just
And
don't
two of the
get it.
guys they brought in, two of the guys they just brought in, they are just getting rid of them. Like, Rocco hasn't been there for more than, what, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
Norman Powell got there, I think, last year. So
And
it's
the
like,
worst thing about Powell too, they gave up Gary Trent Jr., who now you look at him in Toronto and he's balling out. And granted, Norman Powell is very good as well, but like Gary Trent's balling out. So you give out Gary to get Norman, you're like, okay, and then you just ship him off for next to nothing, seemingly.
basically. And, I mean, Blazers have a lot they need to work on. Front office needs to go. Coaching. I mean, I'm not going to say coaching because Chauncey just got there.
Yeah, yeah,
Dame's got to go. I think Dame wants to go. I don't see the point in these trades. The Clippers get better because you might lose Paul George for the rest of the year because I think he has a shoulder issue. Kawhi hasn't played yet, so you have people who can keep the Clippers competitive now until they get back. But
yeah.
other than that, like the Clippers, in my opinion, easily won this trade.
Oh, easily won this trade. The only reason that I thought, like when I saw this, like you can ask, I was in New Orleans and I was with my buddies and I saw this trade and I was like, oh, sick. The Blazers are tearing it down. That's a W. That was like my instant thought, right? Although it
Hmm.
was a 2025 second round. I thought it said first round at first. I'm like, 3 years
Yeah,
for a second round is rough. You're looking at
yeah.
like LeBron's kids, like high school buddy now. So that's a little weird. But at first I was like, oh, they're tearing it down. And then the reports that they're building around Dame, and it's like, you get rid of two like starting caliber players for upside in Keon Johnson, who we'll get more to later because he's not even gonna play a game for the Blazers.
Right.
And Eric Bledsoe is like a shell of his former self. Like he had a bad playoffs in Milwaukee and then just forgot how to play basketball. I don't know.
And Justice Winslow's never really got his footing down in the NBA, so
No, he's kind of been like a low end defending guy who's like a slasher, and that's just not a thing we need in this league anymore. So kind of weird.
Exactly.
Kind of weird. For me, this trade is a D for the Blazers and like a B minus for the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm going C minus for the Blazers just because they started the process
Yeah,
of kind of
that's fair.
jumping from ship.
It was something.
Probably got rid of some. I don't know the contract situation. Maybe got rid of some heavy contracts, and then
Covington
I'm
was
gonna give
getting
it like
yeah.
a B minus for the Clippers. Like nothing really like astounding about the trade, but it keeps them competitive without Kawhi and Paul George. So can't
If
knock them
they
for that.
had Kawhi and Paul George healthy this year, this would probably be an A. And if they were like a four, like a 4 or 5 seed looking to move up, like this would be an A. But they're kind of struggling, and they're kind of getting to the end side of this potential, team run that they kind of created that we thought was going to be great. And it's just
Mhm.
we're on year 3 of it. It's just not working out. So
Then if we're gonna move on. We have Sunday. Sunday, Karis Levert goes to Cleveland, and that one kind of shocked me because that one just kind
yeah,
of out of the blue. You
yeah.
know, Cleveland's like a young and upcoming team, so it makes sense that they're making moves like that. But I didn't think they had the capability or like the capital to make a move like that.
Well, and not only did they have the capital to do it, they did it for next to nothing.
Like
Because
Ricky Rubio's
Cleveland is,
done.
I think Cleveland's the 3 seed in the East right now. I could be wrong. They could be the 4. Um, they've been fantastic this year, way better than anybody expected. They're kind of the Knicks of last year, where like the defense is carrying, um, and they've really been without. I wouldn't say their best player now, but coming into the season, I think most people would have told you their best player was Colin Sexton, and he's been out all year. And so you have no Colin Sexton. Darius Garland is an all star now. He's been playing out of his mind in year 2.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that's so cool to see him be great too. And then Jared Allen could have been an all star if you just wanted to put a big man there. They didn't, so he's not. Kevin Love's giving minutes off the bench. Like the fact that Kevin Love is just being like a leader on this team and like letting the young guys flourish, and he's hyping them up, and he's so excited for him. They go get Karis Levert, a guy who's not as great defensively, but somebody who can actually like get the ball and score, and that's kind of what they needed because if Darius was having a rough night, scoring was kind of interesting. They had to like really manufacture it. So getting
Right.
Karis for Ricky Rubio, who's out for the year, a
Exactly.
protected 2022 first round pick, which won't be protected because it'll probably be in the 20s. But
Mhm.
say they suck the rest of the year, they still keep that pick. So it's kind
It's
of
I think
like
it's a good win. It's a good win for the Cavs because like it's like you were saying, Ricky Rubio. I mean, at least in recent memory, since he's been on the Timberwolves, this has been one of his like more productive years. So losing
yeah,
him definitely hurts, but then to have him replaced with Karis Levert,
yeah.
and Karis Levert is one of the like higher, I would say like, a higher end mid tier player, like
Yeah,
younger
like
guys.
if you're counting like the mid tier, like 40 to 50 player, top 40 50 player, he's closer to 30, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like it's a good pickup because Ricky Rubio is probably on the lower end of that spectrum, still mid
yeah.
tier, but on the lower end. So you get that. Like I said, with the picks, I mean,
Two second round
Cleveland,
picks, like I'm not upset at all.
and I think the Pacers are just doing the same thing. Like whatever they had wasn't working.
Yeah.
Another team that's just like, let's blow it up, blow it
Well,
up and start over.
and get into the grades. I think this is a B plus for the Cleveland for Cleveland. Like this is a great trade. I don't know how much he actually impacts. Like he's not that alpha dog that you want in the playoffs, and that's kind of the guy they
Mhm.
need. But that wasn't really available outside of Harden, so you're not going to blame them for not going and getting that.
Right.
But
I
they didn't give up a whole lot, and if they're trying to win now and still develop their young guys, who cares about 2 second round picks and your draft pick next year when you kind of have that core already?
Yeah, I feel like Cleveland feels like they don't know if they're gonna get this production next year.
Yeah,
So they're kind of like, let's just make a push now. Let's see where we're at now because in the off season, we can reconvene. We can hopefully get some
maybe
people
get a
over in free
guy. Yeah,
agency. Yeah. So see what the draft's looking like. So I mean, for Cleveland, gonna give him a B plus as well, just
Yeah,
because, like I said, you replace Ricky Rubio, who was really good for you guys, and you didn't lose much, which is
yeah,
huge. If you can get someone who's as good or if not better, which I think Levert is better,
yeah.
and not lose much in the process, I think you're good. And then for
Pretty
the
solid.
Pacers, just whatever. I mean, it's a C, I guess. You
You
just,
think C?
but like I'm not gonna be upset with someone who realized nothing's working
Yeah.
and just kind of like, all right, you know what, TJ, have fun with your team now.
Right.
Miles, have fun with your
Yeah.
team and just let's do it.
Yeah. I give the Pacers probably an A on this, honestly, just because I don't think what they got back was worth it. But it was the same thing as the Trailblazers, except they actually did it sooner than later. This Pacers team has so much talent. I mean, they had Levert, Sabonis, Turner. They have I'm blanking on his name, the other guy, Brogdon. Like this team
Hmm.
has talent, and Warren. Like there's a lot of talent there, and it just wasn't working. So you gotta move some
Yeah.
of it and try and. It looks like they're going more for a retool because they did keep some of these guys. Turner probably gets traded in the offseason, but
Hmm.
getting the ball rolling well before it's been years and we're still like pining after it, you know?
Yeah. But we'll definitely talk more about Indiana
Yeah.
in a little bit.
Yeah. And guess what? We're going right back to Portland. Another
Oh
big
my
move. Another big move that they made. Their number two, their star, CJ McCollum, gets traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. And this trade stinks. I'm just gonna say it. This trade was awful. This is actually one of the worst trades I've ever seen.
You think? Oh,
Just
who's
because,
that
and
though?
for both sides. I didn't like this for
Really?
anybody. This trade stinks because CJ McCollum solves nothing for the Pelicans. Absolutely nothing. He scores a little bit more. He plays way worse defense than Josh Hart does. They need defense. I know this team can't score either, but they can't defend.
Hmm.
And do you think Zion's looking and he's like, man, CJ McCollum's there now? I'm ready. Let's go. No, he's not excited to go play with CJ. I mean, maybe he is, but like, not actually.
I think I think it's a decent trade. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I think it's a decent trade for the Pelicans. I mean,
They definitely
I
won it.
think yeah, like I think CJ is a far step above Josh Hart.
Yeah,
And I mean obviously minus the defense, but we've seen CJ without Dame. CJ is capable of
popping off. Yeah,
handling a
and
workload.
he's
And not
capable of being like that playoff guy too.
yeah, and this is good for I think this is benefits CJ more than anybody because CJ has
Yeah,
been in Dame's
yeah,
shadow
so
his
long.
whole career.
Yeah,
And it's like people just kind of forget how good of a guard CJ McCollum is. He can shoot from threes.
he's
He
the
can shoot
best
from mid
player on this
range.
team now, but like outside of Zion.
I like Ingram. I'm still gonna take Ingram.
Okay, I think CJ's a more impactful player, truthfully, but
I mean, each its own. But with CJ, I think he gets to finally take control of his own team. I mean, you still have Brandon, you still have Zion whenever he decides he wants to play again. But you have someone now who's proven he can take over a team. He can control the offense. He can control the flow of the game, and he is efficient, which is huge. He's
yeah,
efficient in
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
So
I think I'm changing my mind a little bit for the Pelicans side, just because I remember that Zion's like hurt, but not hurt, but maybe hurt. Like who knows what he actually is. They know that if they don't like win within the next year, like this year or next year, Zion's gone.
he's out.
So there's like we need to like salvage the luck that we got falling into Zion and try at least. And so I can appreciate that. I can
Yeah,
appreciate
I
that.
mean, Larry Nance isn't a terrible player. I mean, he's nothing great, but he's no
He's
scrub. Tony Snell, you're gonna get a 28-minute game with 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists, zero
the most
blocks, and zero
infamous name
steals.
ever.
But um, the Blazers, I guess, like I said, it's just another one of like just blow it all up. They get Josh Hart. Josh Hart, we know is no scrub. Josh Hart is a solid role player. Thomas Sadaransky, he is Thomas Sadaransky. I mean, I don't know how to really describe him as a player.
I don't either. He's
Um,
the weirdest guy ever.
Nikhil Alexander Walker,
Young guy, high
solid young
upside.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
High upside. He
like
could never play a minute again, though. Is one of those kind.
Yeah, so if I'm grading them, I'm going C minus for the Blazers, and I'm gonna give it a B minus for the Pelicans. I like CJ. I like the addition to CJ.
Yeah.
I think that team could benefit from someone, a veteran player who's been into the Western Conference Finals
Yeah,
before.
he's made some playoff runs. Yeah.
Won't be this
I'll
year, but
no, I'll kind of follow. I'll go B minus for the Pelicans. CJ's really nice to have, especially for that potential to try and keep Zion. I do think if CJ winds up not being that guy without Dame, this is like really bad because his contract is bloated and like really handcuffs the Pelicans going forward. And then for the Blazers, this is like just a bad trade. This is like a D plus.
yeah,
It's a
but it's
pretty
again, it's
bad.
blow it up. They got a first round pick
It's
out of it for
blow it
next
up,
year.
but like man, you got to get more than a first round for CJ. And I think CJ is one of the more like strange players to justify because like you're not going to give up two first rounders for him because he's like injury prone and he's like never been that
Mhm.
guy on his own. But you could have gotten two first rounders out of him. You just couldn't
His
have.
mid range game is deathly,
Yeah.
deathly.
Next trade is another
Back to the
banger.
Pacers. Back to the
Jeez,
Pacers.
another banger. Sabonis going to Sacramento. Sacramento finally doing something instead of just sitting there collecting NCAA All Stars, which is what they love to do. They trade for Sabonis and they get Jeremy Lamb and Justin Holiday for whatever that means. I feel like Jeremy Lamb has probably been traded the most in like superstar deals of any player ever.
He's got to be pushing like 15 teams now. He's got to
Yeah,
be like
no, he's
at the
pushing,
halfway
and they're
mark.
all trades. They're no free agents. I swear he's been on like a 15-year contract and only traded.
This one was a trade when I looked at my phone. I saw it. I remember looking in the group chat and I was just like,
Yeah,
what? This one just to me
head scratcher,
on both it didn't make sense.
head scratcher.
Did not make sense. And Sabonis is going to be great for the Kings. I mean,
Yeah,
the Kings. We found
he's
out
a
later
really
that
good player.
they're trying to have that late play or the playoff push. We'll see. Be just a play in push, but for the Kings, that's a bonus. But Sabonis' first game, 22 and 14, so that's solid.
Yeah,
Bagley didn't want to be there. We'll talk about him later. Um, but Tyrese,
getting rid of Tyrese is crazy. It's actually crazy because Tyrese in a year is going to be better than De'Aaron Fox, right? Like we can kind of agree on that. Like
no,
he's
I'm not gonna. I won't agree with that one.
okay. I think he's
I
like on
think
that type of trajectory. Like he's a better shooter. He's
I
a really
just
good defender.
it's hard because I think De'Aaron Fox is a better player, and I think in next year he will be a better player. It's just Tyrese is gonna have a much better situation
Yeah,
because the Kings kill people.
yeah. Like
They
actually, like
kill
they
careers.
steal the soul out of you.
Yeah, like who wants to
Thankfully, they
play in
don't make too many
Sacramento?
trades, so they don't kill too many careers. But
Yeah, but whoever's that first round pick, whoever's sitting at like that 5, 6, 7 spot, you're like, not Sacramento, not
right,
Sacramento.
please, somebody get my draft stock higher or lower.
Exactly. But
Let me go tweet some destructive stuff real quick and get out of Sacramento.
but I would have thought if I'm the Kings, right? Stuff hasn't been working out. I think I'm getting rid of Aaron Fox. I think he's a
Yeah,
better player, and you can get more out of him.
that's what I'm saying. I figured you would get more out of Fox because he helps somebody more right now.
Yeah, and then Tyrese is more like not. He's gonna be good. Like there's no doubt in my mind that Tyrese will be a good player. It's just why why him at 20? He's 20.
He's 20. He's so
He
young.
can't he can't drink alcohol legally. You're
Uh,
shipping him.
yeah.
Like
After a fantastic rookie year that nobody expected, he was the steal of the draft last year. He was the
it,
first
and
good
doesn't make
draft
sense.
pick. He was literally the first good draft pick they've made in forever. I'm not counting De'Aaron Fox. That was a top 5 pick. It's like you better pick good, and they never do anyway. But that was the first draft pick they, you know, used their resources and figured out who to get, and he was good to like 2 decades.
And it's proven, like I said with Sabonis, it's already a good trade for them.
Yeah,
If I'm thinking Kings, it's like a hit or miss. I'm gonna give Kings a B. Actually, I'm gonna just give them both a B.
Yeah.
I think they both get Bs because Tyrese is gonna be really good for the Sacramento. I think once they decide to get rid of like Brogdon, which I think they'll start to look to ship him off maybe. But Tyrese can definitely step into that role of like main guard position. So I think that's solid. And then I think Sabonis on the Kings gives them that chance to go to the playoffs, which is something I have not seen them do since Mike
Since like,
Bibby.
yeah, since like the year they should have won the finals. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
like
It's been a long time. Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. If you're doing all this to make the play-in tournament, this is ridiculous. And this is why, to me, because this team, Sabonis is a really, really good ball player. I really like Sabonis. I think he could be the number one or number two guy on a team. I think he's that talented. But it's the Sacramento where a big man wasn't necessarily the need. They needed shooting. And they needed defending. And he's a decent defender. Their defense is terrible. This
yeah, he's
barely
not
helps
a
them
defender.
get better as a team. It makes them better as names. But this team wasn't winning now anyway. And I know Sabonis is young. He's very young. Does anybody anywhere think he's going to re-sign with the Kings? I mean, unless
When's
he has
his
the best
contract
experience of
up?
his life. I think it's another year or two. I think 2 years.
Oh, so yeah, then no. It's
Does
just like
anybody
a.
like what's the point?
It looks like it seems like they're just selling out to say, "Oh, we made the playoffs."
And I think that's what it is. And I I think it's a little bit, and it's not a fair comparison because now they're really good, and this hits deep for you. But remember a couple of years ago when the Bills like went all in just to make the playoffs? It was a feel good story, and like that has to kind of be what's happening here, right? Like let's make the playoffs, let's show we're not brain dead, but it's a 10 team playoff right now. You better make it. Like
Yeah, like you have this is their highest chance to make the playoffs ever because the West
it's
stinks.
yeah, the West has three good teams, and the rest of it's mid.
So, oh, I mean, I even forgot with the Pacers, they get Buddy Hield too. And they get Tristan Thompson. So Tristan Thompson, I mean,
He's probably gonna get like cut or something. Honestly, I don't think he winds up on this roster, but
Buddy Hield can shoot.
Buddy
Buddy
Hield's like
Hield is
something, and that
a sniper.
it circles around. I think Indiana's gonna retool. You said trade Brogdon. I actually don't think they do. I think they wind up trading Miles Turner at some point, and now they have guards and a small front court with Brogdon, Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton. That's not a bad team to kind of create something maybe around.
It just sucks because the East is stacked now. Like you should have done this. You should have had stuff like this years ago when you
The
had a
Pacers,
chance.
the Pacers should have been a top three team in the East by this point, but they kind of made weird trades and got rid of role players and
So
they banked on
switch it
Victor
up.
Oladipo. Clearly, that didn't work. And
So yeah, I'm giving them both Bs.
yeah, I'm
I
kind of
think
there
both of
with
them. It's good for both of them, but
me.
yeah.
Me. Both
Oh,
teams not
yeah.
really headed in actual winning directions.
I would
This
say we
is
could talk about the Heat, but it's not too much in there.
yeah, it's not really a crazy trade. KJ Okapala for a second round pick. Sure. It's just the Heat.
Sounds like a cap
The
space
Heat.
kind of
The
thing.
Heat getting rid of a guy that doesn't really help them win now, and the Thunder getting rid of one of their picks because the Thunder literally have like 40 picks in the next 4 years. So
I didn't even honestly. I didn't know who this guy was.
I think he's a rookie or a sophomore. I think he's a sophomore. He got drafted last year, second round pick, I believe, or like late first. Some
That
upside
boy,
there. Some
that boy
upside.
must have been in that practice uniform because I didn't know who he was.
This is a pretty cool trade. I saw some stuff. I felt bad for Joe. Joe was very upset about this.
He
Uh,
knew it was coming though.
he knew it
It still
might
hurts.
happen. He knew it might
Yeah.
happen. Joey Ingles gets traded to the Blazers, and this is why the Blazers are mind-boggling to me, right? They actually somehow flip the Pelicans trade into a pretty decent acquisition and like put low key an upgrade over CJ. I don't know if he's a better player, but like he kind of helps them more. He's a really good defender, and he's just like an insane 3-point shooter.
Mhm.
Joey Ingles he can ball, and they wind up flipping Nikhil Alexander Walker and Saturansky and they get Elijah Hughes, a second round pick, and Joe Ingles. So they get one of their second round picks back. I don't know anything about Elijah Hughes, honestly.
Hmm.
And they get Joe Ingles.
Um,
I feel like this is a weird deal for the Jazz. Like they didn't really get
I think
anything.
I think the Jazz are going to benefit a lot from this
Okay.
because you lose Joe Ingles because Joe Ingles is someone he was never like a star or whatever
No.
like that, but he had
Yeah.
a huge impact on the team. And now you get to see you get something for him because he's out for the season. He's
Yeah.
not playing anymore this season.
Yeah.
So that's just a lost piece. You would have pulled someone up from the practice squad
Yeah.
or from the G League or like whatever waivers,
Freeze.
whatever the
Yeah.
case may
Whatever it
be.
is.
Now you get someone of some substance with Walker who played decent enough minutes to where he knows what to do on the NBA court, and this is a team that's going to be making a run
Yeah.
or all at the end of the year, just as they always do. And you have depth and Aaron Gomez, average big man, but
He's a
it's
big
like
dude. He can eat some fouls and maybe block a shot or two. It's kind of cool. I
it's
guess.
it's something,
I
like
guess.
give
Yeah.
Rudy a quick like 5 minute break or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think it's something. I think it's for them. I think the Jazz did the best that they could do with what they were given.
And they're trying to
So
win and like keeping
mhm,
Joe off the injury out for the year and hoping that he's what he was next year doesn't do anything for them. So,
right, because
uh,
Conley's not getting any younger,
no.
so they had
Yeah,
to make
so
moves, and I
I
think they
actually
did
think
that.
I think this was a good trade for everybody. It's just I wish the Jazz got more back for Ingles, but it's hard to get something for a guy. I think he's on an expiring contract too. I think like next year's the last year, so like you're getting
And that
1 year out of a guy.
might just be retirement year anyways. Like he
It
just might
might be, yeah. He might just
he's
call
like
it.
30, 34, 35 now, so
Yeah, he could just call it if he really wanted to. So that would be tough for the Blazers. But if not, if he plays a year for the Blazers, I actually think it's pretty good. I think it's like a B plus because that's a solid pickup.
I'm giving the Blazers a B plus.
Yeah.
The Spurs and the Blazers.
Spurs didn't
Spurs
really
just
do anything here. Like they get
they got a couple.
Saturansky,
They
so
got a
like sure,
picks.
yeah. So like
They got a second
sure.
round pick, and like 2027 second round pick. Like
And I mean,
nothing
all they did
even.
was give up Saturansky, so it's like, or give up Hernan Gomez, who wasn't really playing for them. So it's like, sure,
And
they
then
were
the
kind of just
Blazers.
like
I'll
make
give
the trade kick type of players in this.
them a D for that one, and then I'll also give the Blazers. I'll give the Blazers a C because you get a guy like Joe Ingles who is. I feel like he's a really good locker room guy,
Yeah.
especially he might not play this year, but to have him kind of coach up some of these young guys you just picked up won't be a bad thing. So I'll give them a C.
And he at least getting him at least shows the Blazers are trying to retool with Dame, so it's
Hmm.
just some semblance of like, a, hey, there's another guy I know his name on this roster.
Right.
Yeah. We'll go over this next one pretty quick. This one's weird though. 4-team trade, which you'd never see, where every
And
team's
that
giving
was
up a player. This is bizarre. The Kings get Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Jackson and Trey Lyles. So two really high lottery picks that didn't really work out, and Dante DiVincenzo, who was low and is working out. I think DiVincenzo's great. I actually think he's fantastic. Like for the type of player he is, where he's like a sixth man slash fringe starter role player that kind of can score a little bit if you need him to, and he's scrappy. He reminds me of like a bad Kyle Lowry, which is weird to say, but like
yeah.
uh, that's a W from the Kings. I like it. They only give up Marvin Bagley, who goes to the Pistons.
Didn't want to be there in the first place.
Marvin Bagley's had beef with them for like years. I actually think I don't know if I texted it to you guys or not. This is the Bagley revival tour. I think he goes to the Pistons, and I think there's like a higher chance than there should be that he goes to the Pistons and is actually a productive NBA player.
I think him and Cade could be a very good duo together.
Yeah, like
Both
this.
young. Marvin Bagley was what, maybe like 22 now.
He's like
Cade's
23. He's been in the
19.
league like 5 years, so he's like 23. It's weird.
He was like 18 when he got to the league, so it's
Yeah,
not. And then you get Cade Cunningham with him. I think both of them he gets like a win-win for both of them.
getting
For
and
the
for the Pistons, getting any guy with crazy high upside is a win.
yeah,
It's a
because
win.
that's not something they've had since Chauncey Billups was there.
No, and I mean obviously they've had a bunch of young guys that have the upside, but they just haven't worked out. So
Exactly. And then the Bucks. I think if I'm picking a winner, I'm
it's the
picking the
Bucks.
Bucks
Yeah, that
because they
that
get
Serge
Serge
Ibaka
Ibaka,
defense is really nice for the second unit because they
especially
needed
since
another
Brook
big guy.
Lopez is hurt.
Yeah, they needed a big guy
He
to
hasn't
like
played in a while.
replace. Obviously, you're not getting like as efficient of shooting as Brook Lopez was providing, and he's not like
Mhm,
as big of a guy, but he's plenty good of a rim defender. Not as what he once was,
mhm.
but this is just a great depth piece for them at a position they need it more than guard.
And you can allow Giannis now to kind of lock up on the perimeter more because you know you
Yeah,
have that
he
like
doesn't have to
security
play in the
blanket
paint.
with Serge.
Yeah,
So
so I think they're definitely the big winner at least short term. And then the Clippers get Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye, two pretty decent wings. Rodney Hood can shoot it a little bit. Semi Ojeleye has been a guy that has a lot of potential, but like never really realized that he's been around a little bit now.
mhm.
Um, I honestly think every team won here. I think it's one of those rare four-team trades, and every team kind of got a W.
Yeah, like it just everyone benefits for whatever reason. But I'm if I'm grading it, Kings, I'll give them a I'll give them a B
Yeah,
because I like Dante DiVincenzo a lot.
yeah.
I think if I mean the Bucks won last year anyway, so it didn't really matter. But if he was healthy last year, I think the Bucks would have
Like,
kind of walked away with it
yeah, they
more.
would have like killed it. I mean, they won that series in five, but like it would have been worse.
It would have killed the Hawks. The Hawks wouldn't
Yeah.
stand a
Oh yeah.
chance. The Bucks, I give the Bucks give the Bucks an A minus because
Okay.
I like Serge as a defensive presence. That's what he's there for, and I think Serge is at the point of his career like he knows what he can do. He knows what he can do, and he knows I'm just here to play defense and I'm here to go for a ring. So I think having them there to back up Brook Lopez and Giannis is good. So I'm gonna give them an A minus. Clippers just to see just because how many wing players do you have now?
Dude, literally six. His name's
Like
six wings. They're gonna have to
you
play
have
Rodney Hood at like the five. Like it's just gonna
you have,
happen.
you have all these players who need to play on the wing. There's just no
Yeah,
room.
it
So I'll give them a C because like they're not bad players, but it's kind of like
doesn't fit. But yeah.
what's are you guys like giving up this year because no one's playing or whatever the case is? And the Pistons, I'll give them a B plus because like I said, I like Marvin Bagley. People think Marvin Bagley is not as bad. I've never once in my life thought Marvin Bagley was a bad player. He was just in Sacramento.
Yeah. And like he hated
And
it from like the jump. Like it was never a good
yeah,
relationship. So yeah, I'm going A minus, A minus, C plus, B plus. That's where I'm
that's
going with
fair.
that. Cool. Let's move to we'll do this one pretty quick. Um, Raptors pretty much do a salary dump. They get rid of Goran Dragic, who had a crazy salary. He goes to the Spurs. It's kind of good for the Spurs too. Like it's nice to have another veteran. If there's any issue with Dejounte's game, it's like his playmaking, which is kind of weird to say because he doesn't really have too many flaws. But it would be his playmaking. And Goran Dragic is a guy who could maybe help him like develop that a little bit more. So W.
But he got bought out, so he's not even there. He's not even there.
Okay, never mind. See you later.
Like he's going probably going to sign with the Mavericks.
Uh,
So I'm just.
okay, later. Okay, never mind. I didn't even see
But you
that.
get
But
a
yeah,
first, you get a first round pick, and you get another first round pick in 2023. So not
wow,
bad at all. Yeah.
that's actually
So
crazy.
So
That's
the
a really
Spurs get a
good trade
chance.
for the Spurs. Actually, wow.
They get to rebuild. So you don't have to take.
They get to rebuild quick because next year first round and the year after that's pretty quick.
And it's the Raptors first round. So the Raptors aren't good. So
They're
it's
okay, but it's like closer to 15 than the 30.
yeah. So I mean, projected. The first one is projected to 1 to 14, and it's
Protect,
projected
yeah,
1 to 13.
yeah,
So I mean, those could very well not pan out because they'll just turn into future second round picks if that's the case. But
which is fine. But I like this for both teams though because like giving up that many first round picks sucks for the Raptors. But I think the way the Raptors are looking at it, we don't need any more young guys. We have Fred, we have Siakam, we have Chris Boucher, or I don't know if he got traded today or not. I don't remember if he did.
we'll get there. I don't know if he has either yet.
Yeah,
There's just so many.
yeah, and then they have Gary Trent. Like they have a lot of young guys on this team. They don't need any more. If they can go
Hmm.
get one free agent, which I think is like what they're gonna try and do, or like get one big trade in the offseason, I think the Raptors could easily be like right back to where they were. Like if they can do like a baby Kawhi-esque trade, like obviously getting Kawhi would be maybe they get Kawhi again. Who knows? He's
Like,
a
you
free
think
agent.
you have all star, you got all star point guard.
Fred.
It's crazy. All star point guard Fred,
Is he the
undrafted to all star.
first undrafted player to be an All Star since I forgot who it was. It was another
Was
guard.
I was Isaiah Thomas ever an all
No,
star? Like,
no.
no,
Isaiah Thomas
then
was drafted too. He was Mr. Irrelevant.
was drafted. I thought he was
Yeah,
maybe.
he was the last pick of the draft. Yeah,
So okay.
yeah. But he's the first one in like 20 years. So shout out to Fred, man. He's crazy, and he's like a small dude. He's crafty. I love it.
Exactly.
I don't
So
know. I think the Raptors are in good shape. I do think they are really happy to get rid of that salary. 2 first rounds is tough though.
yeah. So if I'm going Raptors, I'm going C minus, just because you have to give up 2 first round picks for Thaddeus Young
It's literally just
and
for cap space. 2 first for cap
Drew.
space is rough.
Yeah, like that's you could have managed that one a little bit better, but if you got your job done, then whatever. But then the Spurs, I'm giving them a B plus as well, just
B
because
plus. This is an A plus to me. I think this is the best. I think this is the best projection trade yet.
I'm gonna give it a B plus with contingencies that it could turn into an A plus if the picks work out in their favor.
Yeah, if they get the 2 first round picks, it's an A plus. If not, it's not terrible either way.
Yeah. So that's
Quick
that one.
one. Bull goes to the Magic, the second team that he's been traded to this season. Uh, if he ever plays and gets minutes, he could be really good. We'll never know though.
I
We'll never know.
I never understand why Bol does not play.
It made a little bit of sense with Denver because they're like trying to win. So you don't want to like develop a guy on the court when you're trying to win. But he should play with the Magic. There's no reason he doesn't. And if they don't, then he just might not be good enough to be in the NBA. I don't know. I
And
don't
I
know.
cannot wait to drive it. I'm gonna drive an hour next year to go watch Bol play.
Kind of
And
sick.
PJ Dozier's just
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
I
Yeah,
think
whatever.
Celtics get rid of some unneeded cap that they've had
Yeah.
on the Magic, who oh,
There's a big
so
trade we'll talk about in a second. I want to get this one out of the way. Uh, Romeo Langford for Derek White
hey,
and Josh
that one
Richardson.
happened.
Yeah, Josh Richardson,
Oh, I didn't
Romeo
know they
Langford.
added Romeo Langford.
Yeah, Romeo Langford, Josh Richardson, and the first to San Antonio for Derek White. San Antonio collecting those first overall picks. Getting a first round pick for Derek White is incredible. And then they get
Hmm.
Josh Richardson and Langford, who they'll probably flip again in the offseason. So A plus for this. This is a fantastic trade for the Spurs.
Yeah, the Spurs. I like Josh Richardson. He's always been a solid player. And then I like it for the Celtics. 'Cause I like Derek White a lot.
He's a great
I
shooter,
like
and they need that. They need that
I like
desperately.
Derek. Like they didn't need Josh Richardson because Josh Richardson is just the underglorified version of Jalen Brown. So you don't need that. You don't
Yeah,
need two Jalen
yeah.
Browns.
No,
So
no.
I
I
like
think
this for
I
both
think
teams.
White could like run the guard two guard type of a deal for this team and like actually be efficient as opposed to like Marcus Smart or like young Peyton Pritchard. Like this could make Boston like a little scarier because their defense has been fantastic. So
Mhm.
they need a little bit of scoring. B
I'm
plus for me from
giving
them.
both of them.
Well, B plus for the Celtics. I think it's an A plus from the Spurs. I think the Spurs are killing it.
I think I think they're both just. I'm gonna give them both the B plus. Just like I said, none of them are both good trades. Um, I think the Celtics need a little bit more than Derek White to be effective, and I think the Spurs taking Josh Richardson is just kind of like we'll take him. I don't know how long his contract is. Probably not that long. Maybe a year left. I don't think he signed that long with the Celtics. So just kind of dumping whatever they can. But I think for both of them, they're good trades nonetheless.
Yeah. Now there's a big one. There's the big trade. It's been rumored all week. We didn't think it was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen just because I didn't think it was this bad with Harden. Like I didn't think Harden wanted out like right now. Apparently, he wanted out yesterday, and he actually
Yes.
sat out of yesterday's game. Like he said, "I'm not playing." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, we're not gonna play you." James Harden gets sent to Philly, teams up with Joel Embiid, and Philly gives up so much for this to get this deal done. Like so much. I don't. What were your first instincts on this?
So I love this for the Nets. I
Yes.
think, in my eyes, the Nets are the clear winner. I
Yeah.
think you get Ben Simmons, who we talk about this in the chat and talking about this in the chat. Ben Simmons in a role where he does not have to be the primary ball handler. He could play it off the ball, come off with like off ball screens, catch it, take it to the lane, dump it off to KD, dump it off to Drummond now, dump it off to or kick it out to Seth. The fact that he does not have to be a scorer is huge for Ben Simmons because he had to be a scorer in Philly. Now he doesn't have to be. He could play
He could score
defense,
9 a game and be really good.
he could facilitate exactly. Like, but he also has potential to go off for 30 points.
Yeah. I see,
Oh,
and I kind of agree with everything there, but a little flipped. Kyrie doesn't have to be the main ball handler now. This could be Ben Simmons running the point, never worrying about shooting a ball in his life unless he's literally wide open. And he can just dish, create, facilitate, slash off ball movement when he passes it
mhm.
out. And then you also, like, now granted, I think there's an elephant in this room for the trade, right? No two players hate basketball more than Kyrie and Ben Simmons.
It's a
They just
toxic
don't.
locker room.
They just don't. This locker room
Toxic
is
locker room.
so toxic. You have KD who can't keep his fingers off his phone. That man is constantly on Twitter. Like I don't know why. He got like 3 burners and he got like Google glasses and he's going through Twitter constantly. I don't get it. Kyrie is who knows what's going on with that dude. Um, and then Harden like wants the perfect situation. Harden's the guy who is like looking for Mrs. Right, and she just doesn't exist, bro. The perfect girl don't exist. Like
I think for him, the perfect girl existed in Houston. He just fumbled the bag. Like
yeah,
he had everything he wanted. They
yeah.
were
That team was good too. The one
they
with
were
Chris Paul.
so
Oh
close.
man.
They were so close to getting to the freaking championship. But you decide, oh, you know what? Game 7, let's go 0 for 27 from 3-pointer. Let's do
If they
that.
hit 3 of those, they win.
If
3.
they hit one, if they hit one, they probably win. Just give me one.
One
So
three, bro.
I think for the Nets, I think it's really good. But me saying the Nets win, I know you don't like it from Philly side. I like it from Philly side because in my eyes, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons were not going to win you a championship. They weren't going to be the reasons you bring a championship to Philly. I think James Harden can be the reason you guys. I mean, they bring a championship to Philly.
So I kind of agree a little bit, but my big issue, right? And I've talked a lot about teams' needs during this episode. Philly needed shooting. They needed shooting, and they get Harden, who's like not particularly an efficient shooter. He's a great creator. He's an all time great scorer, and I think he's going to be significantly better in Philly. Like I think Harden's going to get the Philly, and he's going to show. Remember, Harden had a month where he was averaging like 45. Like I think he's going to
Yeah,
get back to that. I really do because he doesn't have to worry about
because he's the
KD.
primary ball
He can be that
primary
guy,
ball
and I
handler.
do think they benefit more from getting him than obviously the Nets did. I didn't like the trade to get Harden to begin with because it was the classic like there's not enough balls to go around the court. Like what's the
Exactly.
what's the point of having 3 guys who like play iso ball? There's no point.
You have
So I
three
think this is
guys who need the ball in their hand.
yeah,
They
like
just
weird. I think this is a great trade for Philly. I just think they gave up too much. I
I
think they gave up
think
way too much because Seth is like a top 5 not superstar 3-point shooter in this league. Like he's fantastic. He's a trigger man.
mhm.
And then obviously like Ben Simmons hasn't been there all year and they've still been I think here's the main thing about this trade. Philly's a 3 seed right now and Ben Simmons hasn't played a game. That's just impressive. I don't know how they did that.
Hmm. I
Obviously, like
think
having like Thibault and Tyrese Maxey, who they did not want to trade. I'm surprised they got this deal done without getting rid of one of those two.
I thought it was going to be one of those two instead of Seth.
Yeah. So I think
I,
if you're
I
getting rid
mean,
of one of them, you'd rather get rid of Seth, but Seth helps you win more right now than those
I
two.
think
But in like a
the
year or two,
fact
they help more.
is with the fact that the 76ers, I think they were more desperate to get rid of Ben Simmons than the Nets were to get rid of James Harden because Ben Simmons was not playing. James Harden, at
Literally
the end
not
of the
playing.
day, James Harden, he's a professional. He can still play. If he's there, he's not happy, but he can still play. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, is not a professional. They were trying to
Yeah.
get him out of there so bad. And the fact that they did, I mean, granted, they had to give up a lot. Like I said, I wish
Two firsts.
for this, I
Two
wish, yeah, that
firsts.
was the one. I was like, get rid of one first
Two
and
firsts.
like Matisse
And you
Thybulle,
get
like,
rid of a
or
defender with Drummond, like, and that's the crazy thing about this trade too, though. The Nets got everything they needed. They got another spot up shooter. They literally didn't have a big man that could start. Like it was
Mhm.
Claxton. That was their starting big man, and Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin might be a bottom 10 player in the NBA this year. He's been that bad. So you get Drummond. It's like pretty significant upgrade over those two.
they don't have a big. Like they
Yeah.
have not had a big. Like Nicholas Claxton is their big, and he's nothing
He's
great.
okay.
Yeah.
Rim runner,
So
he can defend a little bit.
I think for both of them, I like the trade for both teams. I think the Nets won this trade just because they got more
They
than I
got
thought they
so
were gonna
much. They
get.
got so much. I
Like
didn't
if
expect
I'm
Drummond to be in this.
no that one, I think
They got
that
so
one
much.
shocked me the
You know what's
most.
crazy about this too? If Ben Simmons plays, let's just say he plays, because I'm not even convinced he plays. Just because he got traded to Brooklyn doesn't mean he's not like going through it mentally. And if he does, then sheesh. Um, I think if he plays, the Nets got better right now than Philly, which is the crazy part about this trade because they're literally division and conference rivals that just both made each other better. Like that
Mhm.
never happens. That's so weird.
And the only bad thing from Philly, minus like giving up so much, is that James Harden's contract next year is $47 million.
So
So
much
there's
money.
no offseason for you guys.
Nope.
There's
This is
no
the team. This is
free
the team.
agent.
This is the
This
team.
for the you have what 2-3 years to get this done. If you don't get it done, then that's it for
I
a
think
while.
what's the money? I think it's Embiid, Harden, and Tobias are making $140 million next year.
Yeah, they're all like it's like perfectly fractioned to like a third. Each of them like are
It's
taking a third of that
crazy.
chunk.
It's
And the fact that
crazy.
Tobias Harris is making that much money is absolutely stupid.
You
It's
know,
stupid.
I'm sure they tried to like shoehorn Tobias into this deal or something like that. You just can't trade him. He's
They
untradeable.
weren't taking him.
He's
They weren't
actually
taking him
untradeable. That contract is insane.
because the Nets they're like, oh, here's Harden's contract next year. Have fun with that.
Yeah, good luck.
We're not taking
Also, shout
taking.
out to the Nets because Harden wasn't re-signing. So like, W. They
You
got
didn't
something.
like yeah like you got something from someone who was not gonna come
He
back.
was
You literally
literally
got
gonna
something.
like they would have had to
You
sign
were
and trade him, but you get less when it's a signing trade. You know.
you were 2 hours away from getting nothing out of this.
You got Ben Simmons two firsts, Seth and Andre Drummond. I think this is an A from the Nets. The only reason it's not an A plus is I don't know if Ben Simmons plays. He literally just might not play. And if that happens, you have Kyrie and Ben Simmons not playing when you're playing in Brooklyn. That's the weirdest home court disadvantage of all time.
I'm giving I'm giving the Nets an A+ because I think a got rid of James Harden who didn't want to be there. You get Ben Simmons, and I think Ben Simmons is gonna play. I think the fact that he's KD, I don't think KD says let's do this trade because KD has a lot of pull with this. I don't think KD says let's do this trade if Ben Simmons says I'm not playing.
Yeah,
I don't. KD's like, well then I'm not. Why am I wasting my time? But I
yeah,
think Ben Simmons will play because KD is like cool. He was cool with it. They were already talking, so
yeah.
I think Ben Simmons is gonna play. Ben Simmons is probably gonna be the three. You got Seth at the two. You got Kyrie at the one. You got KD at the four, and you can start if you want to start Claxton, whatever. You can start Drummond, whatever. Because Aldridge, you can start Aldridge because he forgot he's still
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
So
He's been pretty good
I
for
think
them
the
too.
Nets. I think I hope. I hope for both of their sakes they don't see each other to the conference
It'd
championship
be kind of
or the
fun.
conference
That'd
finals.
be really fun.
But if they
I
both
want to
get
see. There's
pinned
nothing I
out,
want to see more than like. It would be kind of weird to say I would root for the Sixers in that because I kind of would. There'd be nothing I would want to see more than Harden break Kyrie's ankles and then throw a lob to Embiid who dunks on Ben Simmons. Like that's just the
and then
ultimate. Just like
trolls them.
yeah, troll them. They both run down the court, tongues out, going crazy. Like I'm so down.
Ja- James Harden does his little nosebleed thing. Like, oh my god!
Harden pretends to put like a syringe in his shoulder for like the vaccine or something. I don't know. Like that sounds.
Oh my! If they did that,
He break, bro.
ah,
Here it is. Harden does a crossover to the corner. Kyrie ankle kink. Harden looks at his left hand because you know he's a lefty. Takes his right hand. Bang.
throws the lob. Oh my goodness! Um,
If that happens, Kyrie's not back. He's not allowed in the league anymore. You got to get kicked out. That's disrespectful so much that you have to retire.
it's just another reason I do like this trade is that Ben Simmons is very capable of running the one position. So when in all these home games, when
He
is it
can
home game?
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
home
yeah,
games. Yeah,
yeah.
like
It's not. It's not.
yeah. I was like, which games is he not playing? But yeah, it doesn't make sense. So hopefully they get that situated. If they don't get that situated, I don't know. But A plus, A plus, A plus for the Nets, and I'm giving the 76ers an A minus.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
I'm giving them an A minus because James Harden can win you a championship.
Yeah, you really can. I do want to mention. I don't know how Philly has done it, but in the last 5 years, they have rolled through Joel Embiid, All Star, Tobias Harris, All Star, Al Horford, All Star, Jimmy Butler, All Star, now James Harden. How are they getting all these stars?
And how are they doing nothing with
Every
it?
season they get a new All Star and they have done zero with it. It's pretty crazy to me. I don't get it. I'm
Because
sure there's one I'm missing in there too.
Embiid is someone people want to play with.
Yeah,
And just I would want to play with Embiid because Embiid's raw. He's the
he's just
most
a
dominant
dog,
big man
dude.
right now.
And second most. Don't forget about the
Oh,
MVP of the league, big fella.
I was like,
Don't
Jokic.
forget about the MVP of the league. Hold on.
Yeah, Jokic is disgusting.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
dude, what an absolutely crazy deal that we didn't think, at least us two, we didn't think it was actually going to happen. I thought this was an
oh no, I
off-season
did.
deal. You did?
No, I was like, this is gonna happen because James Harden, he like it's this whole like era of basketball where you can cry your way out of any
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. And he can.
Yeah.
He can do it.
He did it
He did it.
twice,
Twice. Twice in
a
19
year and a half.
months. What a madman. What a beast. That's legendary. That's a toxic boyfriend right there, and we love that. We promote toxicity over here in the
Hey,
spectators.
bold prediction. James Harden first game back, triple double, 30-point triple double. Heard it here first.
37 points, 14 or not rebounds, 14 assists, 10 boards, triple double. First like healthy game back. I don't know like for
And a
calendars.
dominant win. And a dominant
First
win.
no,
For
first game at
like
home. That's what I'll do. First game at home. He's gonna go
I'm
crazy.
just doing. I don't care where they're playing. They could be playing. They could be playing in Brooklyn, and he is going to
Hey,
absolutely go
that's a
crazy.
home game. I'm sure there's more Sixers fans in Brooklyn than Brooklyn fans.
Oh yeah, because
Gotta
all
be.
the Brooklyn fans,
Gotta be.
are just Knicks fans who are just tired. They're just tired.
Dude, we're sick and tired, bro. Sick and tired. I watch exclusively baseball because I'm so tired of the Knicks. It's
You know, I had the
exclusive.
Bills. I had the Bills with 13
You know the
seconds.
Bills.
Anyways, then we get some more stuff in the East with the Hornets getting Montrezl Harrell. I like this.
That's great. This
I
is
love.
fantastic. This is exactly what they needed. They didn't have a big that was like effective. This is amazing for them.
I love Trez. I think that the Lakers blew up that team too soon, and when they got rid of Trez and Caruso and Kuzma and
Yeah.
KP, but um, Yeah, Montrezl Harrell to the Hornets is huge for the Hornets because they need just a bully. They didn't have a bully. Now they have a
No,
bully.
they were like an all slashing and shooting team. Like they didn't have anybody who at any point could just dominate a paint, which I don't think you
A
really
pretty boy
need that
team.
much anymore. But it's nice to have it, especially if the shots aren't
Exactly.
falling. And they didn't give up anything for it. Ish Smith wasn't playing. Vernon Carey has some
No, he wasn't
upside,
playing either.
and then a second round pick.
Okay, he
Ooh,
was a player.
yeah, who's a
Second
player?
round pick.
Yeah, no, they didn't give up anything. This is a W. I
So
think this is not an L from the Wizards because Montrez is a free agent, so they got something. He wasn't going to resign, so they got something. It's like a C, but
I'm
that's it. That's
I'm
an A
giving
from
the
Charlotte though. That's an A.
giving the Wizards. I'm giving the Wizards a D, just because you couldn't have got more.
I don't think so, bro.
I mean, you could.
Listen,
Whatever. I mean, maybe.
if you're in the trade talks and the best option is Ish Smith, you're not getting anything better. Nobody's offering anything better.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna give it A. I like the
Yeah,
Hornets. I like Lamelo. I like Miles
this
Bridges,
helps
and they
them.
get
This helps them.
Montrez with them.
This helps them actually. Like this is a playoff series winning move. Like they might win the first round now, maybe.
Depending, yeah,
That's all.
depending where
That's all
they're
they're
at.
getting. That's all they're getting. But they might. Mavericks have been surprisingly good this year, and they make a move to try and get better. They send Kristaps off to Washington. Weird that he's going to Washington. Washington's clearly like emptying house. I don't really see how adding Kristaps helps here, but they're just trying to switch it up. They get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans,
I
and
think.
it's a really
Uh,
weird move for the Mavs because like Dinwiddie is in the position of like Luca, like he plays the same position as Luca, and if it's not Luca, it's Jalen Brunson's. Like, where does he fit on the court?
I'm like, you don't need Dinwiddie because now
No,
you
you
have
just
like Luca's backup, Brunson. What is Brunson's backup? Dinwiddie.
are they just playing small ball now? Like, is Dinwiddie gonna be the three?
But
And then
with
like,
who? Kleba? Maxi Kleba?
I don't know, man.
Like what?
I don't know.
I
And
don't
so,
like this trade for the
but
Mavericks.
I like it because they're getting rid of Kristaps. I don't like it because they got nothing usable back. Dinwiddie's
I
a
don't.
solid player, and Bertans like has weird upside. He's not as good as he was. He's not. He was like a 3 point shooter. He doesn't hit threes anymore. I think he's like 31% this year. Um, weird. Your mic's cutting out over here, G. But
No.
there
Is
we
that
go.
better?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I like it because. So let me say. I like it because Luca is your guy, and Luca and KP did not see eye to eye. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
But you didn't fill the role that KP had.
Or at least like try to. Like you're telling me, are you actually telling me? I know this happened after, but you couldn't have called the Wizards and be like, "Hey, we'll give you Kristaps for Montrez straight up."
Yeah.
Like that would have been a better deal for both teams.
Like you guys could have went to go get
Both
Sabonis or
teams.
something.
I don't think they had the assets for that.
I mean, but they could have at least done. I mean, they might have tried, but like I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
they
like
didn't have the assets for that.
just
Because
a
again, to give
a
Sabonis,
big
it
man.
took Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton. Mavericks don't have that.
And Tristan Thompson. Can't forget Tristan.
I will forget. I will. I will.
You sound
forget.
like a Kardashian.
I, I'm bougie.
That boy.
This is a
Baby
D.
daddy
This is a D
Tristan.
for me from Dallas. It's one of the worst trades I've seen. Pretty bad.
D for Dallas, and I'm going D for the Wizards because who wants Kristaps Porzingis?
I don't get it.
Who?
Nobody.
We couldn't do anything with them. The Knicks couldn't do anything, so we gave them the Mavericks. You know, the Mavericks. Oh my gosh, they have a chance. They couldn't do anything with them. So what do you think, Bradley Beal? Actually, Bradley Beal's not even playing. He's done for the season.
Done for the season. I don't
So,
know, man. The Wizards legitimately might not win another game this season.
no,
They
no.
might not win another game.
Kuzma's gonna win them a game.
He'll go off for 26 and they'll win one game. They'll beat the Knicks. They'll beat the Knicks. They'll beat the
Everyone.
Lakers.
Yeah, I'm like they'll beat the Lakers.
They'll beat the Lakers. We got
Uh,
one more trade. We wanted to make this a short episode, but it just didn't happen.
yeah,
We got
sorry.
one more trades. Not sorry. You get the full reactions. The Celtics make us. This is the weirdest trade I've ever seen in my life. The Celtics get rid of their veteran minimum guard, Dennis Schroeder, and Enes Kanter / Freedom, and Bruno Fernando for Daniel Theis. Sure, I guess.
Dennis Schroeder going to the Rockets is they're trying to they had to make room for Derek White. They didn't have any room for Derek White.
Yeah.
And Boston with Dennis Schroeder there, and that's what this move is. Now you let Derek White step into that backup point guard role, and you let him kind of lead your bench now.
Yeah. Or maybe
You
start. He might start on this team, honestly.
maybe. I mean, Marcus Smart's still there, so
Yeah.
I don't think he starts over Marcus Smart. But and then you get Daniel Theis back.
Sure.
You get no wait. You get rid of. Hold on, this is confusing me. Houston gets okay. So Houston gets
Yeah, Houston got
Enes
Enes
Freedom.
and Bruno Fernando, yeah.
Okay.
So
So yeah, you
Boston
get
got rid of
Theis back.
Boston got rid of a lot of depth here to get a guy they let walk in free agency.
Mhm.
That's why I'm confused. They literally give. I mean, not that these guys were really helping him win. Dennis Schroeder was like bad.
Mhm.
Schroeder probably gets cut, right? I'd imagine Schroeder gets cut, or like honestly, all three of these guys might get cut.
Yeah.
The only
I
reason
mean,
Schroeder
I
doesn't
want.
get cut is if like you bring Schroeder in there to like be a leader to these young guys. But Dennis Schroeder is the furthest thing from a leader. He was skateboarding instead of negotiating a contract. Could have had a 4-year, like $26 million deal. Didn't sign it, and they got signed for the vet minimum. This is not a leader.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
at least they have a guard that's playing since John Wall still hasn't played yet.
John Wall didn't get traded either. Wow.
So it's just kind of like you have two guard. I mean, you have a guard now, which is cool. You're not competitive by any means, but you get a guard because John Wall's not playing. So that leads me to expect that John Wall might get someone. One of them two is getting bought out. I don't know which one, but I think one of them is going to get bought out.
Dude, that's an
Gonna be able to.
expensive buyout for Wall, though. You literally owe him like 130 mil.
Yes, okay, then
Because
we'll
he got a
say
super max.
Schroeder. We'll say Schroeder gets bought out.
Yeah.
I thought the Wall Westbrook trade was going to happen.
Yeah, it made sense too. Wall is just a better player than Russell Westbrook at this point. Despite him not
Westbrook
playing
is
in like 3 years, I still think he's better. When's the last time John Wall played? Did he play like 5 games last year? Then got sat.
He played a couple games because remember he came back. He had a nice like spin layup. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
it was
there's
cool.
John.
Yeah, it was like, oh, his speed's there. Nice.
Yeah,
And then
like he
we
still
never
has
heard
it.
from him again. Yeah.
And he's like, I want to leave.
And
It's
they're
kind of
like,
weird that they.
he just wants to win, bro. I feel so bad for John Wall. John Wall got drafted by the Wizards, wanted to stay. He wanted to stay so bad. Gets traded to the Rockets as the Rockets are rebuilding. Brutal.
I'm just
Like,
giving both of them as get a C from me.
this trade does nothing for anybody, so yeah.
It's literally just like. I hope you guys had a good time watching the trade deadline. Here's a little welcome.
Here's a little bit, and
or
this happened
exiting
like
basket.
this was a buzzer beater too. Like this happened like at like 2:29.
Yeah, because like right before we're getting on, I'm like, hold on, I gotta make another post.
Anyone, yeah, we started this late because we were getting this one out, and then Enes Kanter got cut too. So
No, it's not Enes Kanter. Don't be disrespectful.
I'm saying his name like that so people know. Enes Freedom.
It's Enes Freedom. People should pick up that it's Enes Freedom and not Enes Kanter and stop being disrespectful.
My bad.
No,
Bro.
I don't.
I know his name.
I don't
That's
care.
my dog. That's a Knicks legend right there. That's my dog.
And I think this episode is over.
Before we do end it though, the Knicks not making a deal despite having the pieces to kind of trade and get something back.
Oh,
Pretty bad. They don't get better.
Lakers,
They don't get worse.
same thing.
But the real L here is the Lakers. The Lakers
Just
have
lost.
Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They just lost to the Portland Trailblazers that literally didn't start a single NBA starter besides Damian Lillard last night. None of the guys they started as an NBA starter.
He didn't. Did he play? Did Lillard even play?
He might not have played. I don't know. I think he played,
I
but
don't.
I didn't watch
I
the
don't
game.
think. No, I don't think he played. He was hurt. He had surgery.
LeBron
He
and
wasn't
Anthony
even there.
Davis on the court. You lost to the
LeBron puts up.
Blazers.
LeBron puts up 30. AD puts up like 17. Westbrook is sitting there on the bench like, y'all thought it was me.
I mean, it is.
We
It's
all
partially
suck.
him, but yeah, y'all all suck.
We all suck.
Let me look at this box score real quick. I need to pull this up.
Like, I'm like
All right,
95%
here's
sure
the
Lillard didn't
starting
play.
five for the Blazers last night. Justice Winslow, Joseph Nurkic. Nurkic is a baller. Ben McLemore. What is this guy's name? CLB. I don't even know his first name. And then Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons, I kind of forget about him. He's actually really good. That's a young
like
guy.
him.
He can ball. He had 29. But
He is
that was
not
their
good
starting
enough to
five.
beat LeBron and AD. I guess actually he is good enough to beat LeBron and
He's
AD
plenty
now.
good enough. Yeah, he's plenty good enough. The third best player on any given night for the Lakers should never be Trevor Ariza.
He was third.
Like in general, like
Yeah.
because he was starting and he's like still playing pretty good defense. Their third best player is probably Malik Monk when either Westbrook or Anthony Davis aren't there, but this is the worst
Lakers-
loss any team has suffered all year. This is bad.
Oh, yeah, this is like a morale killer.
This is the type of loss because it happened last night. So I would have thought they came into today and were like, okay, Ariza, Monk, Stanley, you're gone. Westbrook, you're gone.
Yeah.
We're getting this guy. I don't care who it is. Let's just try.
Something, just one.
try.
I don't even care. You could have literally traded Wayne Ellington for whatever. Just traded him for a pick. Just bring some kind of positivity to the Lakers locker room. Same thing with the Knicks. Bring some kind of positivity. Like, okay, let's try and do something with this.
Are you telling me the Knicks and the Lakers didn't call each other and said, "Hey, we're both struggling. I'll give you Alec Burks. You give me Malik Monk." Who says no?
The Lakers
They're
were
the
trying to
same
get Cam
player.
Reddish. They're trying to get Cam Reddish.
I don't get it, man. These teams don't make sense. They're both 5 or 6 games under 500. They're probably not going to make the play-in tournament. And the Lakers have 5 Hall of Famers on their team, and they're not good. They're not good. Not great.
Ew, the way it's making it sound like that is just.
It's true.
Yeah,
They have the
you're right.
best player of all time on their team. The literal best player of all time, having his best scoring season in 10 years. LeBron is
They're
playing the
wasting it.
best basketball of his life right now.
Oh.
Not his life, but like,
Okay.
granted to his age,
Okay. Yeah.
Has
He's
there ever been a guy this old doing this well? Is he second in the league in
Not-
scoring right now?
not in this sport?
Certainly not in this sport. Obviously, we had a guy just retire in the other sport that was doing that. I don't think LeBron qualifies for scoring leader. No, he doesn't. He hasn't played enough games to qualify. But
Oh, he
LeBron
needs,
is, I think he's averaging 28. He would be third in the league in scoring right now if he qualified.
How many more games does he need? How many
I
games
don't-
do you have to have at the end of the season?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but he doesn't qualify because he's not on the season leaders.
Well, if he does end up qualifying at the end of the season, he could very well lead the league in scoring at age 37.
Isn't that crazy? Oh, actually, I lied.
Yeah.
LeBron would be third, but it's by 0.1. It's by 0.1 because Giannis is 0.1 points more. Giannis Antetokounmpo, by the way, who is like in his prime and like playing.
Is
out of
Trey
his mind.
first?
No, Joel. Joel's at
Embiid's
29.4. Yeah, Joel's at 29.4. Giannis 29.2. Then Trey Young. Then DeMar. Then Ja Morant. Ja Morant's at 26.5 a game. And people are trying to tell me that Ja Morant's not the third best guard in the league. They're trying to tell me.
Okay. Yeah, he is.
Steph,
Yes.
Trey, Ja.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's objective too. It's those three, and then whoever you want to say after that.
Like it's like Steph, and then you can play with these two.
The only reason it's Steph at the top still is because it's Steph. If Steph
Like,
has
Steph
another
is-
like weird shooting year like he's kind of having next year, I'll throw an argument out there for one of those two guys. I'll do it, but no, I'm not ready to yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Steph is the person who could at any given day just drop 50 points. So
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. Lakers, Knicks, embarrassing. They didn't make deals. Lakers are wasting LeBron James. They're wasting him. If I'm LeBron, I would seriously consider leaving. And I know he wants to spend the rest of his career there until his son gets in the league. So he probably doesn't want to go to 2 more teams before he retires because wherever he goes probably isn't where his son gets drafted.
mm-hmm.
But I would consider it because this man's tired, bro. LeBron plays 120 games a year. Every season.
And
Every single
Crazy.
season.
the craziest thing is his lowest scoring season was when he was a rookie, and it was still 20 points. It was still 20
We could do a
points
whole
per
episode,
game.
LeBron. We can't get caught up in this. We could do it. I know I could do it.
Yeah, easy.
So
Easy.
we're gonna end it there before we get too carried away. So thank you guys for listening. I know this was a long one, but there was a lot of trades. This trade deadline was actually insane. Let us know who you guys think your winners and losers of the trade deadline were, and how angry you are at your team for being a bozo. I want to know.
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks. Thank you guys again. Make sure you follow us at _spectators and check us out on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like this video. We'll see you guys next week on Monday for some Super Bowl coverage later.